Hi guys. Hi guys. Ethan here. How you doing?
Seagulls.
Ah, really?
Can you hear
Okay.
them?
Yeah.
Like they're
Ah,
yeah, because
okay.
we
It
have
was
loads of
seagull.
seagulls that live on our roof.
Hmm?
White people always eat the blandest stuff. Like it's always just bread with butter or like plain rice or something like, ooh, ketchup maybe is the most flavor we go for. I think Korea boos are much better than weeaboos.
Oh, really?
Yes, I'm a weeaboo. Yes, I'm a weeaboo. Yes, I'm a weeaboo.
Just stop. Just stop it. Stop. No. Just stop it.
Hi Ash, how are you? Can you please introduce yourself just real quick?
So, my name is Ash, and I've been to Korea 3 times.
3 times. So, how long have you been there? For how long?
So the first time I went was only 3 days. It was just a short little 3-day trip. Then I went there for 1 month.
Okay.
And I spent a month there. And last summer I was in Korea for 2 months.
That sounds grand. And which cities were you in?
So, like a typical tourist, I went to Seoul.
Yeah.
I've spent most of my time in Seoul, but I also traveled to Busan, Gwangju, Ilsan, oh, where else? Incheon, Jeju Island, and yeah, I think that's it. Those are seagulls.
Ah, really?
Can you
Okay.
hear them?
Yeah.
Like they're
Ah,
yeah,
okay.
because we
It
have
was
loads
seagull.
of seagulls that live on our roof. Should I?
And if you need to choose one city to recommend for foreigners, foreign tourists, which city would you love to choose?
See, it depends. Seoul already has a lot of foreigners compared to the first time I went there. Like, the very first time I went to Seoul would be 2017, and there really wasn't that many foreigners. I would walk around on the street and I would kind of notice Korean people staring at me a little bit or kind of looking at me. And the other foreigners I'd see on the street would be other people who were staying in the same hostel as me or people I knew. So I'd kind of walk past them and be like, oh, hi. So if you're okay going to a city that also has a lot of other foreigners and is convenient, Seoul is fine, but I really liked Gwangju.
Gwangju.
Yeah. Jora Gwangju, like
Ah, 전라도 광주?
yeah, I really liked that place because I went to go stay with my friend, and it seems to have like a lot of young people there, some things to do, but it's still a little bit more quiet and small. And I think for people who prefer to go somewhere and not be surrounded by other foreigners and be surrounded by more Korean people.
Okay. Have you ever got any racism issue before in Korea?
Racism issue. I mean, I think it depends what you would consider racism, because it wasn't like there was ever a time in Korea where people were outwardly racist towards me, like, oh, because you're white, because you're a foreigner. But there have been times where I was definitely scammed, definitely treated differently or not allowed to do some things. But I wouldn't always put that down to racism. I'd put that more down to because I'm not Korean. Like, for example, there'd be times I'd be with my Korean friends and I'd say, oh, I really want to try this food or this dish. And they would just say, no, you can't have that dish because it's too spicy.
So it's not racism, but maybe they were worried about you because they have kind of stereotyped that foreigners can't handle spicy food that much.
Yeah, which is true. I mean, white people always eat the blandest stuff. Like, it's always just bread with butter or like plain rice or something like, ooh, you know, ketchup maybe is the most flavor we go for. So then, like, I would go on my own, eat that food I wanted to eat that they told me I couldn't eat. And then I'd go back and tell them, I'd be like, oh, by the way, I ate that food and it wasn't that spicy, it was really good.
How do you think about Hongdae is full of foreigner right now? I mean, whenever I go out in Hongdae, I can see more foreigners than Korean people, to be honest. So I feel like not in Korea.
Hongdae is really strange to me because the first time I went to Korea, 2017, I stayed in Hongdae because I had researched that it was a central place with lots of clubs and fashion and kind of the central nice part of Seoul. And that, like I said, the first time I went there really weren't any foreigners. And I went in summer, so that's like prime time for tourism.
Yeah.
Then the last time I went to Korea last year, suddenly there's just so many foreigners in Hongdae, so many.
Is it hard to make Korean friends in Korea?
I don't think so. To me, Korean people are really friendly and open and welcoming. But I think you also have to put yourself out there. Like, you can't go to a country and expect if you just stand on the street that someone's just going to come up to you and start talking. Usually when I was in Korea, I would use apps, like language exchange apps, or I'd go to loads of meetups. And then I'd meet people there at those meetups who are interested in talking to foreigners and having foreign friends, and people on the apps wanted to practice their English and stuff, and I kind of became friends like that. And even some of my closest Korean friends that I'm still friends with today, we met through a language app, or we met at a meetup.
How was your nightlife in Korea?
Oh,
nice question, right?
Oh my gosh! Like that's the funniest thing. Like, Korea is not internationally known for nightlife, but it 100% should be. And like the times I spent in Korea, I stayed in a party hostel. So talking to a lot of people around the world, and there was a lot of people who were doing China, Korea, Japan. And most of them would say, okay, we knew what to expect with China, we knew what to expect with Japan, but Korea was the country where we just booked it, but we didn't really know what to expect. But out of the three countries, it was the one that surprisingly we had the most fun in, because we did not expect this nightlife. We did not expect that Koreans drink this much,
true,
have this amazing of a nightlife and brilliant clubs.
Do Korean people are touchy?
Now, what do you mean by touchy? Do you mean friends are touchy with friends, or romantic?
Both. You know, both.
Both ways.
Yeah.
Friends in Korea are really touchy, and you see people walking with like their arms around each other's shoulders, and I feel that it brings you much closer. Shocked when I first went to Korea at how touchy couples are. I was really culture shocked.
Okay. Being touchy is life. Great. How do you think about Korea-boo? K-boo?
Oh God, why are you asking me this question?
Okay, you can just answer it like shortly. Don't worry, just shortly.
I think Korea-boos are much better than weeaboos.
Oh, really?
Yes, I'm a weeaboo. Yes, I'm a weeaboo. Yes, I'm a weeaboo.
Just stop. Just stop it. Stop. yourself. Just stop it.
Yeah, because at least a Koreaboo, they worship or idolize real life Korean idols, so they're real people in the real world.
And any culture shock that you got in Korea?
Yeah, I was just really culture shocked at how strong and assertive Korean people are.
Really?
Yes, I feel like there's a stereotype that Asians are very submissive and quiet, and particularly for Asian women, there's that stereotype that they're very cute and shy and submissive. But as soon as I got off the plane in Korea and I went into the airport, I was having trouble with the machine trying to get my ticket, and the Korean man who was standing there, he like opened up my purse, reached into my purse without asking me, took out my money and put it into the machine. And I've never experienced that in any country. I've never ever had a stranger open up my purse and reach in. And I mean, he could have been robbing me.
Yeah, it sounds like crime, but still, he helped you, so happy that it's not a crime.
He didn't.
How do you think about Korean beauty, like cosmetic?
I love Korean cosmetics.
Okay, like compared to European cosmetic, is it better?
Yes, much better. Way better. Like, when I started using Korean makeup and not Korean makeup. I started using Korean skincare because it was so cheap.
Yeah.
It's like buy one bottle, get 100 free. So you kind of end up like coming home with so much stuff. And I could see such a difference. Like I started using all the creams and stuff, and my skin just started to look way better.
So quality of cosmetic is better than European one?
I would say skincare, yes. Makeup, I'm not 100% convinced. I think
but skincare.
Skincare, definitely, and that's why nowadays there's so many European skincare brands who they're just copying off Korean skincare brands.
How do you think about Korean fashion compared to European fashion? You can tell me, like, I would say, compare men's fashion and women's fashion. How do you think about? Yeah, I wanted to ask you that.
Oh God. Okay, so in general, men in Europe don't know how to dress, and
okay,
men in Korea do know how to dress, and they take care of themselves. I mean, I don't care. Like anytime I go to Paris or Spain or Germany, I don't necessarily look at the men and think, oh, so fashionable, so chic, wow. I'm just kind of like, oh yeah, they put in more effort than other guys. But when I'm in Korea, I really feel like, wow, these guys care about how they look and they dress well. Like they dress really nice, very fashionable.
Okay. How about women's fashion?
Yeah, the same. I mean, Korean women, they put in a lot of work into how they look, and they care a lot about how they look. So yeah, Korean women too, they have really good fashion sense.
Pros and cons of Korea?
Pros and cons of Korea. The pros would be Korean people.
Oh, okay.
Compared to Western Europe, it's very cheap. Great nightlife, lots of fun, lots of things you can do all the time, like the 24-hour culture.
Yeah, true.
The cons would be the air pollution.
Oh, true.
I think.
I don't want to go back to Korea in this case, because I don't want to wear a mask often.
Air pollution's really bad.
Thank you so much, Ash.
No problem.
감사합니다.
No problem.
Okay.